East for our speakers today, a man who needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyway, a founding member of the Homeland Party, a straight talker and a strong personality who's been key in driving us to where we are today. He'll speak about the reality of uniting the right. Make some noise for our party chairman, Kenny Smith.
So, yeah, isn't this exciting? Conferences are great, but when the NWORST turn up, and the police turn up, and the venue wants you to wind it all up, just ramps it up that little bit extra, doesn't it? Yeah, guys, I like defying the system. And that's pretty much what we do with nationalism and the Homeland Party. This time last year, we had our first public conference in Derbyshire. And back then, we had 240 members. And it was in a fantastic town hall. We booked under the party name, as we always do, as we have done today. We're not scared, we're not afraid. And on that day, demonstrators turned up again. It was the Stand Up for Rapists guys that turned up. And they're from the local town. I think sometimes they called Stand Up to Racism. But they turned up, and it's the same thing. The police mollycoddle these people. They allow them to dominate and get in your face. But again, we weren't intimidated. One of the local councillors tried to shut us down. They tried to invade the building. We stopped them. We defy them every single time. 1 year later, we're here in Birmingham and Warsaw, and we're approaching 1,400 members. And the filthy red rabble, their numbers have decreased. There's 10 of these spindly-legged reds out there at the moment, chanting some lovely slogans and violence, as you always expect from the far left. We've seen things that have happened recently, the murder of Charlie Kirk and various other atrocities around Europe. It is always the far left that bring violence and hatred and intimidation. They say that if we get elected anywhere, we're infiltrating society and communities. That's wrong. These are the people who are trying to destroy democracy, try to deny people a voice so they can continue with their communist ways. But they won't stop us. They've intimidated the venue, but they haven't intimidated us. And we have told the venue, we will finish what we started. The police are complicit in this too. Instead of a rabble of 12 smelly communists, they tried to tell your venue there's 120 Antifa coming here to trash your hotel. 2 hours later, still no sign of them. We were right to defy them. We will not be intimidated by threats or violence or anything else. We're Homelanders, and we will fight for our right to stand up for our people, to hold conferences when we want to hold conferences. So, this is actually our second conference this year. Earlier on, we met in Bourne in Lincolnshire for the world's first ever remigration conference. And it included guests like Lena Kotra, an MP for the Alternative for Deutschland. And she's a woman who strikes fear into the hearts of the Liberals because she leads the parliamentary campaign for remigration on the continent. She rose to prominence when she started handing out Coubertons to fearful young women who had been raped in her home state and saying, defend yourself for this. The state won't help you, but I will. Here's something to defend yourself. We also had via video link the legendary author Renaud Camus, who coined the Great Replacement phase. But we had to have him by video link because The Labour government were so terrified of this gentle old man that they denied him entry into the country simply because he tells the truth about demographic replacement. And on top of that, this year we've now reached the milestone of 14 town and parish councillors. And I have to point out that that is more than all the other nationalist and so-called nationalist parties have combined. At the last local election, we stood more candidates than we ever have before, and the fantastic Mike Linton got a credible 15% of the vote in his campaign. That's actually got a round of applause for Mike. These are numbers people said we couldn't achieve. Don't do the political route because you're going to get 0% and 0.5, 0.3. But if you're a good man or a good woman doing good things in your community, you can win support as a sensible nationalist. And that's what Mike is proving. Roger Robertson has proved it. We just need to keep working at these things. And we've achieved these things without wholesale support from the dissident media, little or no coverage from the mainstream media, and as Daniel pointed out already, no significant funding. That political party that raised over £250,000 have done nothing. Look at what we've achieved with 60k. Imagine what we could do if we were getting the same amount of money coming in. There are parties who have been on the go for many years who have not achieved anything close to what we have achieved in our short history. But we are still only on the start of our journey. As has been said earlier, it will take years of hard graft and dedication for us to grow into a party capable of winning political power at the highest levels. But we have entered this struggle with our eyes wide open. We know it's the hard road. The least glamorous, apart from today, it's quite exciting today, and the most thankless. We recognise that to achieve power and control, you have to engage in the political fight and put in place a strategy for sustainable success. The community politics approach requires courage and passionate people to stand up in their local communities and be the leaders you want to see. We are not building a cult of personality, but a party full of personalities who lead by example. Our people fight for the love of our people and their communities. That, I think, is what the previous speakers today have showcased by and large. And there are many more people in our party like that, and they are the reason we continue to set a good example and encourage other sensible nationalists to get on board. We literally are a breath of fresh air in nationalism because of people we've got on board. Almost at 1,400, and so as you can tell from this room, there's many, many more people in this party than are here today. And it is clear there's no other option than the Homeland Party. We are still the first and only party to publish a comprehensive and ever-expanding remigration policy. We are the only political party who unapologetically stands up for the ethnic and cultural identity of these islands, which make up our homeland. While others have adopted our language and followed our lead by talking about remigration, they can't even identify who an Englishman or a Scotsman is. How can they actually tackle demographic replacement if they refuse to acknowledge just who is being replaced? Tough talk about taking our country back, stopping the boats, or resisting the Islamification of this country is simply meaningless sloganeering if no attempt is made to win power and control and remove from power the very people who are implementing the evil they claim to be resisting. The time for those who simply talk a good fight or beg for your financial contributions but provide no concrete results must come to an end. And your time, your energy, and your resources must be invested in winning power and control in every area of life. Whether you like it or not, politics invades every facet of our lives. And for me to deny that is pretty much tantamount to insanity. Political activism is therefore not just necessary, it is critical. If we do not succeed in our endeavours, the power and control will remain with the nation wreckers, who facilitate the most serious crisis our island nation has ever faced. Here and everywhere else in Europe, we are experiencing an existential crisis, a threat to our continued existence as a people and a culture. It's unprecedented. Never before have we faced the threat of becoming a minority in our own homeland. The same threat faces every nation of Europe, and without Europeans, there can be no Europe. That is the stark reality we face. The enemies of our people who flood this land with invaders have spent decades trying to destroy everything that underpins our culture. They try to alienate us from our roots, our history, our values, our traditions, and they do this because they have infiltrated and subverted every institution and power base imaginable. The way we stop them is to wrestle control of these places away from them and restore common sense and ensure the right-thinking individuals have those levers of power going forward. And that requires engagement with the enemy. We have to fight the system. And with community politics and deliberately measured and a pragmatic strategy, we can achieve success. I have seen this happen previously for that short period in the noughties when the BNP briefly embraced community politics. Some folk will tell you we need to unite the right in order to succeed. They ask us, why do so many groups exist? And they feel exasperated by the lack of brotherly love across the right. For those on the outside, not affiliated to any party or group, it does seem nonsensical. The self-righteous bickering we witness sometimes on social media is a waste of precious energy and time. Those who instigate it are no better than the nation wreckers we should be opposing, in my opinion. The unity we need is actually a unity of thought and action. Those who see themselves as an intellectual elite need to start leading. They have to realise that the intellectual who cannot manifest his thoughts into deeds is simply impotent against the enemy. Likewise, the supposed man of action who cannot clearly analyse the battleground and root himself philosophically is bound to become but a mere puppet of a far more malevolent enemy. It is vital that we identify the causes and context of any situation. We must analyse and act so that the outcomes we desire can be achieved. Reacting without purpose seldom achieves anything worthwhile. In short, reflection without action is simply a dangerous fantasy, and action without measured deliberation is rank folly. Our party, the Homeland Party, exemplifies that unity of thought and action. We are without a doubt the most forthright nationalist party in the UK. We unashamedly stand up for the ethnic and cultural identity of our people. We have never and we will never shrink away from doing that. And our bravery on that can never be questioned except by dishonest men. But we are measured because we deal with the real world. As been said already today, we interact with people at work, in universities, in our neighbourhoods, places of worship. We speak with people and understand that for nationalism to become acceptable, it must be showcased in its true form. Nationalism is often seen to be on the right in political terms. But as far as I'm concerned, our worldview is far more pragmatic and far less dogmatic than that. Nationalists put our people first, and that will always mean we refuse to be chained to any fixed political system, left or right. However, I do also accept that it is a commonly held view, and many patriots do identify themselves as right-wing. So for the purpose of the next point, I'm going to go with the flow on this one. And that other point is that when folk talk about uniting the right, who do they actually mean by the right? Because for me, it's observably true that the so-called right is divided between a traditional right and a liberal right. Are the Tories traditional right, or are they liberal right? Liberal. What about Reform? From where I stand, their membership is traditional right, but their leadership is definitely liberal right. There's no two ways about it. And what about those that call themselves civic nationalists? Are they not simply liberal right too? Of course they are. The true right is nationalist. This traditional right understands ethnicity and the link between ethnicity, i.e. biology, and culture in creating belonging in a person. We are not blank slates. And one of the two great pitfalls of our age is that people accept this liberal right to be on the same side as us. They want mass immigration to be reduced, slowed down. They want deportations but not remigration, which will still mean our destruction. When they do talk of remigration, they only mean Islamists. And they care not for the ethnic and cultural integrity of our nation. The drive to simply conserve what we have now never addresses how we reclaim what we have lost. Or better still, considers what we can actually build to make life better for our people. They must believe in a better future rather than yearn for the past. And the other great pitfall of the right is the section that long for societal collapse or believe that we've already lost. They claim to believe in our people and the DNA which made us great. But they refuse to acknowledge that blood still flows in us, and we can build something positive and be victorious if we want to. And this doomerism often leads people down a path that repulses good people in this country. The rhetoric from the No Political Solution Brigade becomes vulgar and self-destructive and plays right into the hands of our cunning enemies who play them like puppets to keep good folk away from joining our patriotic ranks. They must believe in a better future, that it's possible, rather than wallow in defeatism. I really do believe this is a time of transition. Whether you want to recreate the past or believe a collapse is coming, your task must be to rebuild a world where our people can be free and safe. A nation where we can flourish and prosper. You must fill your mind not with anguish or despair, but with a potent vision of everything new we can create while still preserving all that we hold dear. We must continue to strive to be positive, to create something strong and good that benefits our people. We keep the faith, build a party that provides real change. If we do that, we keep the faith. If we do that, we can unite the right by leading people away from the liberal right and the extremist right. Because both these variants have led us to this current mess. We need to hold fast to our mission and build the party our people and nation needs. I'll be honest as well, today, I think the majority of speakers, and I include myself in this, would, given the choice, rather be doing anything else than engaging in the political struggle. Fighting the nationalist cause against the range of enemies we have is hard and it's unforgiving. But we do it because we have to. I have 3 daughters. I can't shy away from this fight. But sadly, there are too few people who have the courage and conviction that the Homelanders have. If you're listening to this speech in this room or later online, you have to engage in the struggle. You have to get on board if you want things to change. You have to engage in constructive political activism to make change happen. Nothing else will work. You need to banish the fear because you're not alone. Look at the guys in this room. Some of you have met each other for the first time and realised that you just live close to each other. Stop the wishful thinking or the edgelord retardation. Embrace the real struggle with us. The struggle for power and control should be where you are focused. Win the hearts and minds of our people in the communities where you live and in which you interact. Do this through positive words and deeds, and you can showcase the benefits of nationalism like never before. Give our people hope again. Let them dream of a better future. Show them that there are people out there prepared to be their voice and stand up for them. Because there are literally millions of people out there now who feel lost and abandoned. And they're crying out for good, honest leaders. And we can give them that and much more with nationalism. We can deliver for our people. We can make remigration happen. And we can make our homeland flourish again. But you have to play your part. It's time to reject the enemy's demand for you to lie down and shut up. Stand up, get up, be tall, and a voice for your people. Thank you.